30 years of the best sports talk in Middle Tennessee, featuring Tennessee Radio Hall of Famer George Plaster, Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame coach Watson Brown, and Young Guns Billy Derrick. And now, here's your host, George Plaster.
Hello again, everybody. Welcome in. It is a beautiful, and I mean beautiful, Wednesday. A little touch of fall in the air. Not like we're, at 50 degrees or anything, but also not at 95, and that's kind of nice. Anyway, as you can tell, we are at our beautiful new digs at the Fordyce Center in Bellevue. Today's show, one word: football, and a ton of it. If you love football, this is a show you need to be watching. We begin during football season with Terry McCormick's Daily Titans Update. Terry providing us great info in that feature. And this update, as always, brought to you by Lori Burnett Leland. She wants to be your mortgage lady, and through the folks at USA Mortgage, that is certainly possible. Dial up Lori at 615-969-4350. Terry, before we get to your stuff, I want to congratulate a friend that I think is a friend of both of ours. You ready?
Sure.
Congratulations to Jerry Richmond. This Friday night, he will do his 500th Trousdale County game on radio. Terry, I don't have the exact years. That's got to be 45 years, doesn't it?
Yeah. Jerry's been doing it a long time. He's a real pro and a great guy. And not only does he do Trousdale County football, but he's also done Trousdale County basketball for a lot of years too, George.
That is such a milestone. God, 500. Anyway, I wanted to start the show with that, make sure I got it in. To the folks that sent me the note earlier today about it, thank you very much. Jerry's a good friend, and we're thrilled for him and hope that it is an incredibly special night for him. Terry, we have the cut downs yesterday. In the aftermath of that, now what?
Well, Titans have made a few moves today. The most notable one was they claimed a defensive back off waiver from the Chicago Bears. Now they'll have to figure out a way to get him on the active roster and either put somebody on IR, Kyle Phillips maybe, or remove somebody from the 53-man roster and try to pass him through waivers. The guy that they got, his name is Kendall Vilnor. He's in his fourth year in the league. He's out of Georgia Southern. I believe he was a fifth-round pick, I think I saw, in 2020 out of Georgia Southern. So interesting that they add a little bit of depth there in the secondary. Also, another interesting signing, they've signed several guys that they cut yesterday back to the practice squad, most notably your favorite Mason Kinsey, Kevin Rader, Sam Okwanu, several other guys that were here in camp with them. Eric Guerrer, who made a nice impression as a defensive back and punt returner. And then they also went out and picked up Cade York, formerly of the Browns, kicker. So they might be putting him on the practice squad because Nick Folk, as you know, George, is not getting any younger. He's 38, going to be 39 before the season's over. And this is the last year of his contract that they claimed or acquired in the trade. So maybe they're going to try and fix Cade York and groom him to have the job long-term down the road.
Yeah, because he bombed in Cleveland.
really did. And they spent a 4th-round pick on him. And a lot of times, these guys, these kickers who get drafted, seems like they don't come in and with the success a lot of times that you think that they would. And maybe that's because being a draft pick as a kicker puts a lot of added pressure on a guy to make good on that selection, because so many kickers, as you know, George, and punters for that matter, are undrafted free agents who just kind of bounce around until they find the right landing spot, and then they stay there for a number of years.
So, Terry, gut feeling, is this their last roster move, or is there still more to come?
Well, they've still got a few more practice squad guys to add, and then they'll have to make room for Vilner on the 53-man roster. So it'll be interesting to see exactly what they do. It could be that they'll release some of the signings today, make those official, and then could be that they'll keep a spot or two open in case a guy pops today from the cuts that trickles down to them that they could add tomorrow.
It's really interesting because, Terry, help me with this. All these teams have got a scouting department that basically take a look at every player they think is on the bubble and sort of give it it might be worth looking at, or whatever. But that's kind of what they do, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. They've watched numerous hours of, uncounted hours of film and tape and interviewed these guys, and they have an idea. Just because a guy was drafted by the Vikings or the Cowboys or the Rams or whoever doesn't mean that they don't know something about him. And every team is like that, because if that guy becomes available, you want to be able to refer to that scouting report that you had, or be able to go to somebody inside the building to say, hey, you scouted so-and-so when he was coming out of college. What did you think of him? Is he better than this guy that you had? And if the answer to that is yes, you might put in a claim for him.
Anything else on your end?
I think that's about it. Practice will start again tomorrow, and the emphasis will shift a little bit, George. It'll start shifting toward preparation for the New Orleans Saints.
Yep, bring it on. Okay, Terry, thank you as always.
All right, from you, George.
Terry McCormick's Daily Titans Update, brought to you by Lori Burnett Leland. She wants to be your mortgage lady, and through the folks at USA Mortgage, that is very possible. Dial her up at 615-969-4350. Now, let's welcome in Kelly Holcomb, Mr. Positive, joining us from Murfreesboro. Kelly, how are you?
Thanks, George. I am pretty positive. Thank
Really?
you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Here's something I'm positive about. Down by a couple of runs last night, the old Phillies hit the Angels with a big 7 spot, siete, on your SAP button.
No, it didn't work. My reverse psychology didn't work last night, obviously.
By the way, tomorrow, college football starting in earnest. More than one pick tomorrow, Kelly. A lot of things you can root against. Yeah.
All right. I see that you're not wearing the George Plaster Show shirt. Have you got yours yet, George?
Yes, I do. And there's a real shot Friday that will happen. Our show will originate from Nashville Christian. Then I think those kids ought to see the logo. It's a damn good looking logo.
Billy, are you wearing yours today?
Not today, but
what are we doing?
Well, I mean, we can't spoil the viewers with the shirt every day. We gotta, you gotta mix it up.
George, I think you need to put the hammer down, and that is part of Billy's new wardrobe. It needs to be every day.
Really?
The George Plaster shirt, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Every day.
Every day.
I mean, good Lord. I mean, how often is he going to wash these things?
It doesn't matter. Every day. That's part of his job. That's part of his job description right now. Every day have a George Plaster shirt on.
Well, as his boss, I will make that decision without your consultation.
Here we go. He made a big decision the other day when you came to MTCS, and I was told by Billy, not you, Billy. No, it might have been you. It probably was you. I think you were not aggressive about it, though. You said it's probably better for Billy that we don't have you on because it's just too much of a headache, because we know the unprofessionalism of Billy.
Wow.
The unprofessionalism.
Wow. Billy,
It just is what it is, man.
And Kelly's the one calling somebody unprofessional.
This is no gym shoe operation.
Are we ready for
see.
So you seem to want to get to the update today, don't you?
Well, it is 2:12, so I'm trying to stay on track here.
Really?
Trying to be professional.
Is that so?
This isn't a gym shoe operation,
Isn't that
George.
special?
For once in your life, did you send the link to Marcus?
I did. No,
Okay, good. Because I was about to rip you and call this a gym shoe organization if we did.
No, it's up to
You
you.
had not.
It's up to you to make sure Marcus gets on.
Kelly's former teammate, Marcus Pollard,
I can't do that.
will join us at 3:00 today, and Kelly will get the first questions. So it'll be interesting to see if he knows how to intro him.
That'll be fun.
Oh, Lord. Wow. You going to make me do that, George?
Like a dog or something.
Speaking of the NFL, MVP odds have been released. Patrick Mahomes at the top, plus 600. Joe Burrow, plus 700. Josh Allen, plus 800. And Jalen Hurts. So all quarterbacks pretty much looks like the top 8 guys in the MVP odds.
By the way, Joe Burrow practiced today, which, thank God, I am so sick of hearing all these conspiracy theories. He's not going to practice until he gets the money. I'm not sure about that.
Well, yeah, they can exhale now. He missed about a month, and he is back today. He was back today. So, and he reportedly showed no signs of the injury that plagued him for the past month. So Burrow looking good. Also, Bailey Zappi and Malik Cunningham in New England, they were both waived by the Patriots yesterday, leaving Mac Jones as the only quarterback on the roster. Well, Zappi and Cunningham were both re-signed to the team's practice squad, so Bill Belichick took a unique approach by sending both quarterbacks to waivers, only to have them both ultimately return.
And if we know Belichick, there'll be yet about an 8th signing of Brian Hoyer.
Oh, wow. That's a good call, George. No, you're right.
He has done that so many times. Zappi didn't look very good here Friday night. And yet, Kelly, the times I've seen him in the past, I've been very impressed.
Yeah, he's played well when he got into the games last year. He was there was some buzz about him being and he is a really good player. He can complete balls. He played really well at Western. So it's funny how he's trying to manipulate that roster. Obviously obviously one of them would be signed to the team before their first game. So I don't know. I guess that's just a different way of going about it.
The other kid, by the way, Malik Cunningham, is from Louisville, and he's sort of a Lamar Jackson 2.0. He can fly.
Yeah, he was undrafted, and he's still a rookie, so I think he might. I'm not saying he's going to fight for playing time, but I mean,
he's got some skills.
Yeah. Also, the Colts, former team of Kelly and Marcus Pollard, they have not traded Jonathan Taylor. They elect not to. According to ESPN, the Dolphins weren't the only team interested in acquiring him. The Packers were also talking with Taylor and the Colts, and they had legitimate interest, but the deal was not done. So,
Kelly,
Taylor,
you knew it would be this way.
Yeah, nobody's going to give up what they're asking for that. Like that was just like a little bait to throw out there to see if anybody took the bait, and that's not going to happen. I'm sure they're asking like 2 first-round picks for him or something. It's crazy, I'm sure.
When Irsay came out in whenever it was, late July, early August, with the comments about Jonathan Taylor, that didn't look good.
Yeah, that was bad. Irsay.
Well, hey, owners do what they want to do, though, George.
Sure.
I've told you that before. They say what they want to say. They've got the red pen. They write the check. So it's their business.
Yep.
Let's go to college. For the 3rd straight year, head coach Brian Kelly announced that LSU will begin the season without running back John Emery. He didn't give a reason during the SEC teleconference today. But this is the 3rd straight season Emery hasn't played in the opener. He missed the past 2 years because of academic issues. So I would guess that these are more academic issues glaring up.
I know something about academic issues. I once had a deficiency slip sent home from Vandy that caused an absolute firestorm in the Plaster House. My mom, who was a Phi Beta Kappa and didn't mind telling you she was, hit the ceiling. What she was thinking to herself was, my son's an idiot. And although Mom is not with us anymore, she was right.
You said it, George. You said it. I didn't get to top it off. I thought you were going to let me top it off.
No.
That's it for me.
That's our update?
Yep. Not a whole lot to it, but that's it.
Not a lot of meat on the bone, was there?
No, there's not.
There was not.
You were worried about getting us to the update on time for an update that had nothing.
That was 3 minutes. Like, what are we doing here, Billy?
I don't know what you want me to do.
Make up some stories.
I mean, come up with
Bryce
something
Harper
else.
Traded to the Angels.
A lot of it is NBA random stuff that nobody cares about. So
Talking about academic stuff, though, it just reminded me that I played with a guy that I'm not going to say his name, but we really got to talking about academic eligibility and all that at times. And he told me that he never went to class and he had a 0.2 grade point average.
0.2.
0.2 grade point average.
Which I believe is 4 Ds and an F, but still 0.2 ahead of Daniel Simpson Day in Animal House, who had no grade point average because all courses were incomplete.
0.2. And he was proud of it.
It is our hope that when we go to Tallahassee in a few moments, that Plaster show intern Butch Samide is doing better with his academics as a Seminole than I did at Vandy. He will join us to talk about the game of the week by a mile in college football. Neutral site, Florida State LSU, Sunday night, 6:30. Be there. Aloha. Year number 2 of the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night was awesome. And the reason is really simple. I chose Strike and Spare, and they were amazing. They have great food, great bowling, and a staff that is truly ready to go the extra mile to help you. They have 5 family fun centers in the area to choose from, and for more info, go to strikeandspare.com or call them at 615-824-5685.
How am I going to get to work? My car's totaled.
Scholar, our team is making a call right now. We'll get you a rental car. Don't worry.
That's a relief.
Call us 24/7. We're here. We're going to help.
As the trusted premier custom home builder in Middle Tennessee, Donnelly Timmons has over 20 years of experience in the industry. Whether you're looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client and every remodel is unique, luxurious, and completed on time within budget. Founders Dustin Timmons and Joey Donnelly have over 25 years of construction experience in the Nashville area. Together, they have completed projects in Forest Hills, Oak Hill, Green Hills, Franklin, and Brentwood. Dustin and Joey believe that communication is the most important aspect of all construction projects. Therefore, they personally manage each project themselves and are involved in job site activities on a daily basis. Their commitment to quality and integrity has earned them an outstanding reputation among their clients. Contact them to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects. Give them a call at 615-456-7983 or log on to DonnellyTimmons.com.
I'm Watson Brown.
I'm Kelly Holcomb.
I'm Billy Derrick.
We're the George Plaster Show. We've been Nashville's best sports talk for the last 30 years. And you know what? We still are.
Catch us live weekdays from 2 to 4 p.m. Central Time in Nashville on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. Also, the podcast version is available on Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
Looking for more than just awards and trophies? Southern Trophy House is your one-stop solution. For over 60 years, their team has created lasting impressions with a personalized touch. From embroidery to screen-printed apparel to corporate awards, signs, and name badges, they have everything you need to keep your brand shining bright. With their knowledgeable customer service team, you can relax as they create, produce, pack, and ship merchandise and awards on time and on budget. That includes etched crystal awards, custom-cut acrylic, name badges, embroidered Richardson ball caps, banners, screen-printed T-shirts, laser-engraved Yelly cups, and knives. Recognize your hard-working team from Southern Trophy House, where they do their best to help you recognize your best. Located at 2705 Nolensville Pike in Nashville, give them a holler, 615-256-7295. Visit southerntrophy.com. Southern Trophy House, for all your personalization and recognition needs. Man, did Florida State ever play that song a few times during the Bobby Bowden era. Man. Whew. Anyway, neutral site in Orlando Sunday night for what is the college football game of the week. Two national powers, LSU and Florida State. We have our own intern extraordinaire, Butch Samide, who is a student, second year at Florida State, joining us from down in Tallahassee. Oh, my God.
What?
Where did that come from?
Where did what come from?
The beard.
What? I kept it shaved for the summer. Just decided to grow it out a little bit, George.
Wow. Billy,
it doesn't look good?
What's so funny?
I'm just laughing at your response to it.
Jeez. Change a little bit.
Give the man a break, George.
Absolutely. So is more of the focus this week on this huge game or the weather, the hurricane? Kind of tell us what's going on there.
Yeah, so with the hurricane, we had a couple short power outages, at least in my apartment complex. Thank the Lord that nothing bad in Tallahassee happened. There wasn't that much. The winds at some point, I think, got up to about 30 miles per hour, but the rain was never too much. A lot of prayers go out to areas like Perry, Florida. Thank you, Ricky. A lot of that more kind of central Florida, you're probably looking at an hour north of Tampa. They really got hit hard. Also St. Petersburg, just being exactly on the water there. They got hit probably the hardest when it comes down to this hurricane. I saw some reports, some were saying, reached Category 4 about last night, but then this morning it seems like it kind of stayed Category 3. Either way, I mean, prayers out to those that were affected. Thankfully, Tallahassee got to focus more on the football game instead of, having to focus that much on the hurricane.
So this is not Florida State's first go at a big game. How does the hype this week compare to past big ones?
Yeah, so I think because I've been thinking about this question a lot, and last year there was a lot of hype to the LSU game, and Florida State likes to open the year off with an interesting matchup. I guess technically last year was a week 0 matchup against Duquesne that technically was the season opener, but everyone was looking at the LSU game. I compared this year's hype to looking back a couple years ago to the Notre Dame game in Doak Campbell Stadium. I believe it was Norvell's second year, kind of now freshly out of COVID restrictions and things like that. First big year of the transfer portal. Florida State hit on guys like Jermaine Johnson. who is now with the Jets as a pass rusher, and a couple other key pieces. Mackenzie Milton was a part of that team, led a fourth quarter drive to force overtime. And that game had a special aura around it where there was a lot of hype. There was a lot of excitement. And I'm not saying last year didn't have that, because it absolutely did. We were more talented last year, and I think people know that, and we're more talented again this year. But I think really it's the excitement for the growth. I think after the COVID year, it was kind of just different, weird scheduling, didn't make a bowl. No one was expecting much. But then that next year, everyone kind of expected that step up into relevancy, back into the bowl games, back into, 6 or 7 wins in a season, back to beating teams like Miami and Florida, winning those rivalry games. And now this is kind of the step up to being a national contender again. And I think this team, talent-wise, has it. Culture-wise, whether they're built to win, whether they know how to win, that's a different conversation. And we'll see a lot of that on Sunday. A lot of those questions will be answered. But I think talent-wise, this Florida State roster can match up with anyone in the country.
By the end of last season, I thought Jordan Travis was the most electric player I saw in college football. You saw him week in, week out. When did he turn that corner from pretty good to legit Heisman candidate?
I think it was when Kenny Dillingham left Florida State. I think that was the main – when Mike Norvell started calling the plays, Jordan Travis – I don't know whether it's just the mentality that they share, whether there was, a mental step up, being able to have that connection with Norvell head on. But with Kenny Dillingham, there was a lot of confusion. And of course, he's now the head coach down at Arizona State. But I don't know what it was, just nothing meshed well. And it was very difficult to gain yards. It was very difficult to put together drives. You had some games where it was good. Like the Notre Dame game, there were lots of big plays. There were, a lot of fun in that game. But if you take out those big plays, they didn't really have much. That first year, last year, under Norvell, Jordan Travis came out, and from the LSU game all the way out to the Florida and Oklahoma games to end the season, I mean, he was electric. No one could tackle him. He was making precision passes like every game, and that was kind of a main thing. No one really knew if Jordan Travis had that. Everyone knew about his feet and how well he was when he could scramble, and that led him to some injuries early on in his career. He suffered injuries at Louisville when he transferred to Florida State and played under Dillingham. He had a couple of injuries, and then with Norvell, I believe he just missed he got hurt against Louisville in the first half. Tate Rodemaker, the backup quarterback, went on to win the game in the second half. But besides that, Jordan Travis has been healthy. So that's been one. And I would say once Norvell took over the play calling, just something clicked. And since then, he's been that Heisman level player.
A, are you going to the game? And B, are you wearing the Superman outfit?
So I will be going to the game. I don't think the Superman outfit will be making an appearance in Orlando.
How can that be?
It's just been it's been difficult going back and forth. Last year, thankfully, the school, Florida State University Athletics, gave us those tickets front row in that, I believe it was the Taco Bell Liv Moss student section. I don't know if Taco Bell is doing that again. I remember, there were a couple of home games where we were asking if we could, it was away games, that we were asking if we could get some of those tickets. The Cheez-It Bowl last year against Oklahoma, we were asking. And it has to do with whether or not Taco Bell is a part of it, whether they're giving tickets away. So that kind of, led into where I could wear the suit and it would be noticeable. But, sitting in section, whatever, 8 rows back, you're not going to – I don't think it would have the same effect as it did.
Wow. Kelly, a lot of corporate BS going on. Taco Bell's not the only one in the
He's trying to get some sponsorship money, George. I mean, he's trying to get it from Taco Bell, baby. Liv Moss.
I was going to say Chick-fil-A, but I don't think they operate on Sunday. You're going to have to come up. Maybe Burger King does a lot of ads.
Well, we'll see. I don't know. I mean, last year we were approached and we were told, and so we thought, hey, let's do it again. And Florida State just hasn't, Who knows? Maybe they didn't appreciate it.
Well, they need to clean it up. I mean, you're an intern on a damn good show, and they need to know that. Don't you agree, Kelly?
Totally agree, man. We need sponsorship money. I think you need to go out and you need to go out and get it there, big dog. You've got the look now. You've got the look. I mean, hey, I like some of the comments, man. Whatever, George. Don't listen to George, man. It looks good. Good stuff.
Thank you.
Hey, I've got a serious question. Well, not a serious question, but you're a Florida State fan. But this kind of goes back to my days growing up in Tennessee. Tennessee was always good. It was always Tennessee and Alabama, and then Tennessee kind of fell off the wagon. And it seems like the same thing has happened with FSU. Do you think Mike Norvell is bringing those guys back? Because I can remember when they joined the ACC and they won so many conference titles in a row, nobody even touched them. Do you think he's bringing those guys back to the tradition of the Bobby Bowden days?
It's hard to say. I don't want to come out and say, just because we're on a hot streak now, oh, we're back. I think that's probably the most dangerous statement in college football is we're back. Shout out to Sam Ehlinger with that one. But I think that what Norvell is doing that Taggart did not have, and a lot of coaches don't have nowadays, is he is bluntly honest with his recruiting of players, with his assessment of players, with what their role is going to be. And if you look at how that's worked in the transfer portal, because it lagged in recruiting. And the last few years, you look at the players that he's recruited to come there in the transfer portal. You start with Jermaine Johnson, who was a NFL draft pick, great player, came from Georgia. It was just an incredible playmaker. And now you're looking at guys like Johnny Wilson, Trey Benson, who are probably your two best skill position players outside of Jordan Travis. And you look about all the players defensively, all the players that he's told that can come back. They've hit on the offensive line, which is, Florida State years ago was one of the country's worst offensive lines. And now they're finally having meaningful position battles with players that have experience. They brought in an offensive guard who started games from Auburn. He brought in the highest graded pass blocker from UTEP, Jeremiah Byers. And then he brings in the former team captain last year of Colorado, their left guard, Casey Roddick. And now you're like, you have a whole starting 5 offensive line just from transfers the last 2 years. And going to the recruiting side now, he's already landed, I believe, 3 5-star athletes. And we haven't had 3 5-star athletes in the last 4 recruiting classes, maybe 5 recruiting classes. And to have that already, and we're not even to signing day. Now, obviously, those guys have to stay. But I think one thing Norvell has in this day of college football that is so rare is he tells kids, this is how we are going to use you. This is how we think, how good of a player we think you are and what you could do for this program. And some players will see that and they won't like it, and that's fine. But some players that really like that mentality, that honesty, I think that they find it as genuine, and I think they're buying in. Now, once again, it's a 1 year of 10-win football that could easily go back. Injuries happen. There's unlucky things that happen that can derail a program that the head coach doesn't have control over. But I think with what Norvell has done to lay a foundation to start teaching how to win, how to dominate again, I think that Florida State could easily, on the trajectory they're on, be back to a national powerhouse type program. It just takes a couple more years of winning until that statement has some more, strength behind it.
Well, Billy just put up, and you see Brian Kelly there, but he just put up a picture of him and some of his team and Jaden Daniels, which we got 2 really good quarterbacks. I want to know who you give the edge to, and what do you think the keys to this game is? Because both those teams last year came in, they played the game. I forget where it was, but neither team was ranked, and Florida State squeaks one out. They block. Was it a block extra point or whatever at the end of the game? So they kind of squeaked it out. But now both these teams are known. I think LSU's ranked number 5 going in, and Florida State's ranked number 8. So what do you think the keys to the game, and then quarterback battle? Who you give the edge to?
So I'll say the main matchups that I'm looking for is it really comes down. I think it's going to come down LSU to defense. I think they're gonna have. I mean, we could go up and down the roster all day and just say, oh, well, Florida State has new players here, LSU has new players there. But I think the two main ones, I think it's going to be LSU's defensive backs against Florida State's wide receivers. Johnny Wilson, I mean, he's 6'6", 6'7", has incredible speed. He burned pretty much everyone we played against last year, except for LSU. LSU was giving him double teams a lot. They were respecting his size. And Pokey Wilson, a player that went to the NFL from our wide receiver core last year, had 2 big receiving touchdowns, one on that flea flicker reverse trick play, but 2 really big touchdowns for Florida State. And this year they added Keon Coleman, who is a Michigan State transfer who, from what I've heard, is absolutely deadly, and Winston Wright transferred to Florida State last year, but was in I believe a motorcycle accident, and so he missed all of last year, but now he's back. And and LSU's whole secondary is mainly made up of transfer players. This is their first year in the program. If you ask LSU fans what they're most scared of, it's that secondary. So I think it starts there. And then secondly, I would say it's going to be LSU's offensive line versus Florida State's defensive line. I think you look at Florida State's defensive line, they added defensive tackle Brandon Fisk from Western Michigan, who is the highest rated defensive tackle in the portal. You bring back Jared Verse, who is, I believe, a preseason All-American, and they bring back Fabian Lovett, who is I believe this is now his 3rd year starting at Florida State. And so that's a lot of experience and a lot of talent on that defensive line. And LSU, I believe, last year started 2 or 3 freshmen on that offensive line, but now obviously they're a year older, they're a year better. And towards the end of the season, they were really starting to, dominate some defensive lines. But Florida State had their way in that first game, I would say, just because it was a lot of those guys' first college starts. So it was incredibly difficult for LSU. And as for the quarterback battle, I would say that, I'm biased, but I give it to Jordan Travis, just because you look at that first game and Jaden Daniels was mainly a threat running the ball. You look at all their biggest plays, it was mostly running the ball until that last drive where they had that 90-something yard drive. And of course, with today's rules, they wouldn't have had that last stoppage to score the touchdown because it was off of a first down. So, obviously different rules now, so we'll see how the game plays out. But Jordan Travis from the start of last year was just incredible throwing the football. And obviously we've seen highlights of him running the ball as well. That Florida game, he had 2 ridiculous scrambles where he's breaking 5 or 6 tackles, getting to the goal line. So, I think both teams are going to have their moments. If it's a pure quarterback battle, I do think Jordan Travis has better accuracy, and he's more used to his system. Jaden Daniels, once again, he was like his offensive line. He became better as a passer as the year went on. But from Jordan Travis, all year long, he was, a reliable thrower of the football, where I think Jaden Daniels just didn't have the comfort level that Travis had in his offense. So, yeah.
Gotcha. So my last question, man, any significant injuries going into the game? For either team?
I would say they're not injuries, but a couple key things to look at. Mason Smith for LSU, who is their starting best defensive tackle, probably their best defensive lineman, period. He got suspended for 1 game. He was with Kayshon Boutte, who Boutte was able to serve his suspension. I believe they were signing autographs and got improper benefits somehow. I don't know the full story there, but they both received penalties, suspensions from that. Boutte served his suspension towards the end of last year, or the middle of last season. But Mason Smith actually tore his ACL in the FSU game last year. So he wasn't playing the rest of the season. So he wasn't able to serve that suspension. So unfortunately for him, he's having to serve that suspension in the Florida State game this year. Obviously, you break the rules. I can't have that much sympathy for you, but it does. It is unfortunate that the game where you get injured in, you want to face that same opponent, you want to get the win for your team, and now you're not going to be playing. So that's tough. But on Florida State side, another defensive tackle had his waiver claim denied for this season, even though he transferred from Miami to Florida State to be closer to his sick mother. So I don't know why the NCAA decided to deny that waiver claim. I know that Florida State's still looking into it, trying to get it fixed. So those are 2 pretty key defensive linemen that are going to be missing from Sunday's game. But other than that, from what I've seen, most everybody's good to go. So I'm excited.
Butch, great report. You tell the athletic director at Florida State that you're a part of this show and you expect the tickets that you have richly deserved.
I will.
They'll probably stick you outside the stadium. Hey, thank you for doing this. Stay safe.
I will. Thank you, George.
Butch Samide, he's becoming quite the broadcaster. And it was expected, Kelly. He's a Battleground Academy grad.
Josh, here we go. He is a good interview, man. He's getting pretty good at that.
There. He's getting there.
Yeah, he knows his stuff.
You got to get away from, and this was hard for me originally. You know, you grow up a fan of a team. You got to get away from the we. So objective reporting is something that Butch might need to work on. But other than that, did a great job.
Okay, after the break, the very latest from the ACC, which right now is dysfunctional as all get out. I'll explain it when we come back. Forget the fact that Sir Speedy Music City is owned by my BGA classmate James Warren. Their work stands on its own merit. James and his staff do incredible work, as evidenced by the huge banners at the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night. If you're looking for quality to help your marketing and business communications, and you want it at a reasonable price, these are your folks. Call them at 615-832-9511 or go to print at sirspeedymusiccity.com. And be sure to tell them Plaz sent you.
Family owned and operated for more than 2 decades, Alaco Fine Wood Floors is Nashville and Middle Tennessee's choice for premium quality hardwood floors. Since 1995, Jimmy Alaco and his army of employees have embodied the approach of taking pride in one's craft and providing superior customer service, growing from a one-man shop to a team of 23 professionals who share the founder's passion for quality craftsmanship and customer satisfaction. If you are interested in contacting them, you can find their headquarters at 2505 Winford Avenue in Berry Hill, or give them a call at 615-356-0303. Again, that's 615-356-0303, or log on to alacofinewoodfloors.com. Alaco Fine Wood Floors, serving Middle Tennessee's hardwood flooring needs since 1995.
You can't see the sights without the sounds. From the crack of the bat to the roar of the crowd and everything in between, discover what Hit City has to offer. Spend your nights cheering on the Nashville Sounds at First Horizon Park with giveaways, fireworks shows, theme weekends, and more. Single game tickets are on sale now. Visit NashvilleSounds.com to claim your seat today.
For over 35 years, Wilson Bank & Trust has been committed to providing customized banking solutions to help individuals, families, and businesses in Tennessee achieve their goals. As your full-service community bank, we are proud to offer loans with competitive rates, local decision-making, and fast, friendly service from our experienced lenders. No matter where you are on your financial journey, Wilson Bank & Trust is ready to help you take the next step. Visit your nearest Wilson Bank & Trust office or online at wilsonbank.com to get started today. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
as a lot of you know, the winds of change in college athletics have been blowing like a hurricane in recent weeks. But all of a sudden, we've had about 7 days where it's been really quiet, particularly in the Atlantic Coast Conference. There's their beautiful logo. And so last night, I did a little snooping around with some ACC friends. And Kelly, here's what I've come up with. The ACC, or at least the higher-ups, appear to want to push Cal, Washington State, SMU to be a part of that league. I'm told that the old guard of the ACC, the North Carolinas, the Clemsons, the NC States, have risen up and said, not no, but hell no. We're not sharing the money. And the latest I've heard is that a fourth school has jumped in and that the ACC is nowhere close to having the votes to get these three schools membership. How about that?
I don't know, George. All this stuff is crazy. We've talked about it ad nauseum here lately. I don't know. And if they were to actually do it, I'm going to ask you and maybe Billy, like, do y'all see that as being a plausible thing for them people being into the ACC for a couple of years and like, we just can't keep doing this. We can't keep putting our kids through this. We can't keep putting our fans through this and the parents of the kids going to watch the game. I don't know, but it just doesn't. All that stuff doesn't make sense to me. I mean, the Big Ten stuff doesn't make sense when you got Oregon and all those teams out west. I mean, ever since we've been alive, it's always been those teams play out there. Our teams play in the South. I mean, the ACC plays their stuff. The Big Ten's up north. It's going to, and I know times change and I know things are going to be different, but all this stuff doesn't make sense. We also always say it. It always comes down to money though. So who knows?
Billy, I never hear, I never hear anybody on the college administration side that ever pushes back about the travel. It's just simply give me the cash and we'll figure out the travel.
I'm sorry. Yeah, it's all about the money. I mean, what SMU, Cal, and Stanford, right? Those are the three. Did you say there's a fourth?
Cal, Stanford, SMU, Washington State appears to be the bastard stepchild that nobody wants.
Right, Washington State. But what are those four teams adding to the ACC? This is a move that the ACC is saying we need the money because we want to remain a conference. Just the bottom line, we want to remain a conference and get, and keep this money as opposed to we want to compete in football. I think they've sort of thrown in the towel. In that regard.
Yeah, SMU has the Dallas market. That's the one reason that SMU has any level of, I don't know,
relevance,
interest, whatever. The other two, I don't know. It seems to me like the ACC is trying to fend off the Big 12 from going by it. By the way, the other piece of the rumor is that the Big 12 now has become has begun what I'll call exploratory talks with those three, which will be wonderful. I think a 19-team conference is what everybody ought to have so that their basketball tournament in March can take 2.5 weeks.
I think those conference tournaments, basketball, those might just end up being canceled. Because that's too much basketball.
They make too much money.
Well, yeah, that's a good point. They're not going to cancel.
Teams 1 and 2 will play at Madison Square Garden. Teams 3 and 4 will play on the outdoor courts in Harlem. I mean, that's about what it's going to get to. But anyway, the point to be made is there's this jockeying back and forth, and you've got a series of these ACC schools that are saying, wait a minute. We don't have enough money as it is. We are not about to give these schools any money to come in here when, in essence, we're throwing them a lifeline. And what I hear is that the SMUs have been desperate enough to say, okay, we might be willing to go for that. There's there's a level of desperation in all of this. For instance, Memphis would give its left eye to get in the Big 12. You think of all the things the University of Memphis has tried to do to get in a big conference, and none of it has worked.
No, but SMU, I don't blame SMU at all for, at their level, they've got a chance to hop into the ACC, and they're saying, why the heck not? And go ahead, Kelly.
Here's what I'm gonna ask you guys. Like, if the Big 12 does, like, if the ACC gripes about it, they don't want these other teams. The Big 12, obviously, it's not as much travel. It makes a little bit more sense, but I still don't think it makes sense. But what if the Big 12 does expand and get those teams, and then they become the big money maker out of they're more than ACC. What does the ACC do? Do they start trying to get more people, or is this group of schools say, hey, we don't want it. We don't want it.
Well,
so
let me ask this question. Deep down, do Cal and SMU really bring anything to the table?
No.
For either the Big 12 or the ACC? I can get the Stanford part. Stanford wins a lot of sports stuff in Olympic kind of sports.
Baseball. Yeah.
Right.
But the other two, do they really bring any value?
I think SMU, I don't know, though. I mean, Cal, they've been good, but Cal's down. Stanford's down in football. But, you mentioned the other sports. SMU, I think it would be the one team that I think they might be able to do some things. I mean, they've been solid, but nothing that really makes huge waves in that conference.
I mean, I
don't think.
The reason for the interest in SMU is the Dallas market and the hope that not only do you get Dallas, but you get a little more of that whole Texas footprint.
Yeah. My problem, though, with the ACC, how did they let the Big 12 snatch UCF? I mean, what were they doing? I know a lot of this, the Big 12 took UCF, what was it, 2 years ago? I think that was announced.
Yeah.
So they kind of got caught.
UCF, Cincinnati.
Right. ACC, that would have worked out geographically better.
So Cincinnati being a really good basketball school.
A lot of this is the ACC just sort of falling asleep in the Big 12. We know what's going to happen. We're snatching these teams up.
Anyway, that is the latest at the moment. Now, for all I know, tonight they may get in a room and the commissioner may do a great schmooze job and the vote changes. But it's been now more than a week that the old guard of the ACC has stood its ground and said, not no, but hell no.
They don't really know anything about Cal football other than the fact that a long time ago when John Elway was playing them, they had the miracle when they were throwing the ball back. That's what they remember Cal Berkeley for. I'm kind of like you, George, yeah.
Peter Sermon won't appreciate that. He's the defensive coordinator at Cal.
Well, sorry. I mean, that's just the way it is.
Well, it's also they're on the West Coast. It's becoming harder and harder for every West Coast team. USC is lucky to have Lincoln Riley, so they're kind of they're hanging lucky right now to be able to have him. If they didn't have Lincoln Riley, there would be really much of nothing on the West Coast.
And you're getting a lot more 6 o'clock Pac-12 kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Oregon State will get a national TV game Sunday on CBS at 2:30. There is a little bit of a shift to get them out of that 9:30 mode because even the junkies like me are asleep by about 11.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, that's the latest out of the ACC. When we come back, we will have Stat of the Day, and then we will meet up with Kelly's former teammate, Marcus Pollard, who now works with the Jacksonville Jaguars. And then near the bottom of the 3 o'clock hour, we will ask the question, why is Nick Saban acting so secretive, in particular about his quarterbacks? Because there's an old saying, when you have three, you have none.
You have none.
You have none. Right. I wonder if it's true. Stay tuned.
Convenience and value, 2 words that we expect when we do business. Our goal at JHA Company is to deliver just that, both to our school partners and to our customers. Whether you're purchasing photos, yearbooks, Class jewelry, leather jackets, school spirit wear, or senior graduation products, we strive to make the experience easy, convenient, and cost-effective. Find out more at jhacompany.com or call 615-867-6345 for more information. JHA, one source, one company.
Hey, thank you for meeting with me today. The insurance company has made an offer.
Already? Wow.
They've offered you the entire policy.
Thank you, Blair.
You're so welcome.
Star Physical Therapy was established in 1997 with one great mission: to serve. If you're hurting, don't wait to receive physical therapy. You don't need a referral to see their physical therapist, and early morning and evening appointments are available. Make the call to 615-673-1420 and get rid of that pain. Star Physical Therapy, the official health provider of Football Friday. So who said I can't be a golfer? Well, you know what? This is X Golf, located just down the road from the Fordyce Center in Bellevue. This is fun. It'll improve your golf game, and you need to stop in and check it out. 8138 Sawyer Brown Road, and who knows, I may get to 200 before it's all over.
Top of the hour on a Wednesday. It's time for Stat of the Day, brought to you by John English Antique Sports and Cards in Shelbyville, Tennessee. You can find them at 204 East Depot Street. They're open during the week, Tuesday through Friday from noon to 5, and Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 5. Give them a call at 931-492-4304. All right, let's see what we've got cooked up for today. We're going NFL in honor of our guest coming up. We are 8 days away from the NFL season. Who is the first and only player to win the Super Bowl MVP from solely special teams?
Kelly, I believe I know the answer.
Steve Tasker.
Absolutely.
Wrong.
Really?
No.
It's not
Really?
Tasker?
It's not Steve Tasker.
Hold on. Let us think about it then again. Hold on.
Because that's where I was going with it as well.
I don't think it's Adam Vinatieri. Would it be? I mean, because he didn't win it with New England. It was always Brady. And then Deion Branch won it one time.
We just got to see it.
Dude, what dude from Chicago?
Dude from Chicago.
Dude from Ricky says dude from Chicago.
Devin Hester.
He's got to be talking about.
I'll
Devin
say
Hester.
this: that's a good one because he run one back.
I think so.
Colts?
Yes,
I think he did, but I mean they didn't win the game. And Pete Payton was the MVP. Yeah, I don't know.
All right, Desmond Howard.
Desmond Howard, yes. Golly.
I thought y'all would have nailed this one.
I thought it was Tasker. I thought it was Tasker.
I could have swore it was Steve Tasker because when they've had all the MVPs come out before the Super Bowl, I could have swore Steve Tasker was walking out. Desmond Howard, yeah, okay.
Was Tasker a returner, I'm guessing?
Tasker was a little bit of everything.
Yeah, he did everything.
In Buffalo.
So he would block, he would gun, he would punt, he would return.
Do everything, man.
Just whatever it called for. Beloved up there.
That's wild.
Still love him. I mean, still love the guy.
George,
still love the guy.
Kelly is telling me we don't have Marcus yet.
No, I'm trying to text him, man. I don't know what, I even changed wardrobe. I even changed wardrobe for Marcus.
What is that?
Y'all can't see this. This is a shirt that Peyton had made up of Tom Moore with all his favorite isms on there. His Tom Moore isms.
Give us a few.
Dude,
that's awesome.
Play smart, not scared. No guts, no blue chips. What is the other one? It's who goes the hardest, the longest.
So,
and then go ahead.
How much crap did Peyton give Tom Moore?
Oh, no, he didn't give Tom Moore crap. I was the one that gave Tom Moore crap.
Really?
I always gave Tom. Oh yeah. I mean, we went at it constantly, man. But like I said the other day when the guy called me on the phone, I mean, he said, "What have you been doing, son? Cleaning your above ground pool out?" I'm like, there's no need in that, Tom. There's no need in it. So he was out there. He was playing golf. The dude's 85 years old, still playing golf. And still coaching. I mean, it's a fleecing of America. But he has not joined obviously he hadn't joined yet, Billy.
No, let me ask this question. Do we maybe need to shift things around a little?
I'm going to say we do. Let's just go on, because I've texted him constantly and he told me he was good. So I don't know. Something might have come up. I don't know.
Let's talk some Roll Tide.
Let's do. So, Kelly, your best theory as to why all of a sudden Nick Saban has gone CIA.
I don't know, George. I mean, he's always kind of been a little CIA guy, because I think on his roster, I mean, I know that he hasn't presented one so far, but I think that in the years past, I mean, he always says, hey, it's going to be Jalen Milroe or Ty Simpson. So it's always kind of vague with him. But I really don't know. I don't know what's going on down there. They may not. I think the Milroe guys, he's obviously going to start the first game. But
well, now you say that, but Saban certainly has not said that.
I know, but I just think that. Well, I mean, we'll just have to see. I'm not going to throw anything out there. We'll just have to see. But obviously, they've had a good run of quarterbacks for a while now,
an incredible run.
Yeah, it's been incredible, and it started a while back. He's won some national championships with guys, the Greg McElroys and some other guys that are not big name guys, but these last couple of guys that he's had,
John Parker Wilson.
That's right. I mean, he's had some guys there, but these last couple have been, and I think Alabama's kind of gotten, the fans have kind of gotten used to that, of not having to sweat about who's going to be behind center as the quarterback. But this year it's going to be a little bit different. As you see, Milroe came in last year, he played against Texas A&M. He had to start that game when Bryce Young was out. He's not a polished passer, obviously, we know that, but he's a very good athlete. He can run. And I'm sure that he's worked on that, just like Jalen Hurts has worked on when he was in Philadelphia. So he's done a really good job at that. And who's to say Jalen Milroe can't? But I know that the Ty Simpson kid, being a Martin kid, his dad is the coach at UT Martin. Everybody says he's. I don't think he had a very good spring game, but I've heard that he's had a pretty good, fall camp. So who knows about that? And then obviously the Buckner kid coming from Notre Dame, being a Tommy Rees guy who was the offensive coordinator up there, he's kind of familiar with him. But I don't know if Tyler Buckner kind of sways things his way. I really don't. I don't know if he's that guy for the Alabama Crimson Tide. Billy talked about it yesterday when we had the opener about Stetson Bennett, about the kid, the Beck kid at Georgia. I think that's what Tyler Buckner gives you. He doesn't really move the needle any for you. He's not going to make mistakes. At some point, if he plays, he's going to have to make a play, Billy. But this is kind of unusual for Alabama going in with the success that they've had at the quarterback position the last 8 years.
Well, let me try it this way. Let's go right to left on your radio dial here. Let's start with Buckner. Did Buckner end up coming to Alabama because they decided there was a huge need, or did this happen simply because of a close relationship with Tommy Rees?
I I think a little bit of both, George. I think obviously Tommy Rees, but I think there was some of it that said, hey, we need a guy that's actually played some meaningful ball. And, not saying that Tyler Buckner's played a lot, but he's played more than these guys. So I think there was a question mark there. And I think Tommy Rees probably went to Saban and say, hey, I've got this kid from Notre Dame, and he's a smart guy. He's not going to lose you any games. So why don't we think about bringing him? I think that's why he's there. I don't know if he was planning on starting, but I don't know if that's going to happen. So we'll see.
Now, the story on Ty Simpson, he was a University of Alabama commit all along. And then at the 11th hour, Tennessee came in with big NIL stuff. And he said, thanks, but no thanks. Kelly, is he, from a physical standpoint, the best of the three as far as the ability to throw the football?
The ability to throw the football, I would say, because I've seen some pictures of him. I've watched some film of him. The guy can throw the football. There's no question. It comes out of his hand really nice. He's got really good footwork. Obviously, grew up with a coach. Kind of the same thing with my son. He grew up with it, around it, so he's got good feet. He's got good feet. But that ball comes off his arm. But like, he didn't have a very good spring game, and everything that I've gotten is he's had a good fall camp, but obviously there's some question marks there. So it's going to be interesting to see what Saban does with that. But I think whoever starts, the other guy will probably play. And that when they have one of these cannon fodder teams that come along, that maybe all three of them are going to play. So this may be an ongoing process with the decision. I don't know.
Well, the thing we know, or at least I think we know, is that Alabama is going to go back partly out of necessity, but also partly, I think, because this is really what Nick Saban is and wants to be, is a pound it down your throat kind of team.
Right.
And that had always been their identity in the first decade of Nick Saban. Kelly, I think they've lost some of that over the last couple of years. I'm going to be interested to see if they can pick that back up.
And I think that's where Jalen Milroe comes into play, because he's a better runner. And from what I've heard, I've got a good friend that keeps up with all that stuff. He's a big Alabama guy, and I've talked to him. Supposedly, their offensive line is really good. There's some slobber knockers that they've gotten, and they're trying to get back to that style of football. And that's where you could see that Jalen Milroe would be the guy, because he can run the ball. He can run that zone option look, that zone read thing that everybody does now. I don't know if they'll get under center. Maybe they get under center some. I don't know. They didn't with Bryce Young, because Bryce Young is kind of he did a couple of times, but he's kind of that guy that's a shotgun guy. But I think Jalen Milroe, I think that's where he really fits in. And with the running backs that Alabama's got, they're going to be loaded there. So we'll see. I think that's kind of who Nick Saban is. I think he kind of got away from that, and I think he really deep down wants to, not sell out to the run game like he used to, but I think he wants to go back to a little bit of that, because he knows, he's a defensive coach, and I've said it before. When you go out there on the field and you throw 3 passes and they're all incomplete, and you take 16 seconds off the clock, defensive coordinators hate that stuff. So I would see him going back to more ball control, run the ball, try to pound people, and I could see him going back to that.
Kelly, if you were a betting man and had to place a bet on the quarterback, say Alabama wins the national title, what quarterback of these 3 would do it?
Oh, wow. I would say the kid from Martin, but I just don't know if he's experienced enough.
He's got the highest ceiling. It looks.
He's a good-looking kid. He played at a small school. Obviously, won a state championship when he was in Martin, but if you look at him, he fits the bill. He's a good-looking guy, and when you watch him throw, he can throw the ball now, and he can run. I mean, he did it in high school, so he can do that as well. I think he's more of the complete package of all 3 of those quarterbacks. But obviously I'm not the coach, so he may not be performing well when he goes out there on the field. I don't know. I thought going into the year, I really thought that he would just totally win the job and there would be no questions, and then he would kind of pick up where Bryce Young left off. Obviously, he's a younger guy, but kind of pick off where Bryce Young left off, and it just hasn't happened. So there's obviously a question mark there.
And George, you asked about why they would have picked up Tyler Buckner. That tells me they don't trust Milroe or Simpson yet.
I think that's exactly what it tells you.
Right. Now, Tommy Rees, and again, I don't know, but Tommy Rees being there helped a lot, right? I mean, Tommy Rees probably said, "Hey, I like this guy. He's my guy. We're tight with each other. Why not?" But ultimately, I mean, that's a decision. You're bringing in another quarterback after spring. That started a lot of this, at least for me, saying,
what's going on?
I don't know.
So put that list of 3 up there again. Okay. The last 3 Alabama quarterbacks were Bryce Young, Tua, and Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
Whew.
Pretty good quarterbacks. And then you got Mac Jones in there too. I mean,
that's
you've
right.
got
I
mean, you got 4 guys. You got 4 guys that are
all
they're starting in the NFL. Yeah.
Well, these 3 guys right here are young and inexperienced. I mean, relatively, right? Now they're not freshmen, but Milroe, I mean, yeah, he played last year, but he's got a year on his belt. He's probably the most veteran type guy. Simpson hasn't played much at all. Buckner, half a season with Notre Dame. I mean, there's just not a ton of proven ability there.
Here is where maybe Alabama gets a little bit of a break. The opener, of course, is against Middle, Saturday down in Tuscaloosa. Then Texas comes to town. And for me, Texas has been, in recent years, I think, overrated. For all of the, Texas this and hook 'em horns. And what's Texas done in the last 3-4 years? Nothing. Just my opinion. That's week 2 in Tuscaloosa. Then they go to South Florida. Yeah, that'll be exciting.
Why are they going there?
I have no idea. Maybe they got a payday. At home against Ole Miss, and then they go to Mississippi State on September 30th. Kelly, it does feel like, other than the Texas game, they get about a month to kind of figure out what is our identity going to be. Are any of these quarterbacks going to step up and really help us? Or is it going to be totally ground chuck with 10 men in the box?
I kind of think that's what they're going to do too, George. I think they're going to use these first couple of they're going to use this first month to kind of figure it out. Texas might be a little different. Last year, Texas beat them up when they were in when they went to Texas and pretty much won that game. And then Bryce Young I think they got to relying too much on Bryce Young. And I think that's where Nick Saban has tried to draw a line in the sand and say, hey, we cannot do this to a quarterback. Bryce Young was kind of different. And, it's funny because I was watching. Yeah, it's different because I was watching a preseason game that he was playing the other day, and he had quite a bit of time. Now, on some teams, their offensive line wasn't great last year. Auburn, the year before wore him out. That's when he had to be miraculous and a hero and save them from that loss at Auburn. But
because they rushed the kitchen sink on him that day.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So I think that Nick Saban has gone in there and he's told Tommy Rees, he's like, last year we depended too much on the quarterback. I don't want to do that again. Obviously,
right.
If we heard Tony Barnhart, you've got to have a guy in the quarterback position or in that room that can win you games. But I think that they relied way too much on Bryce Young last year, and it kind of caught up with him. He did a lot of things that helped. I'm not sure that they win many games, George. I think you're with me on that. If he doesn't play last year, if he gets hurt more than he did that one game, I don't think they win many games last year, George, because they weren't very good up front. But I think from what I'm hearing that they've got some guys up front that kind of reminds you of kind of the old school, run it down your throat and not rely on the quarterback so much. And we'll see what happens with the Texas game. But other than that, I think they can kind of fill this out, and they can play all three of those guys and say, I don't know if the Buckner guy will play. We'll see. But just kind of fill it out and see, hey, can these dudes play or can't they? We're going to go from there.
Well, and I agree, Kelly. I think that is Alabama's only choice and option this year, is to go back to mauling people and owning the line of scrimmage, because they don't have they don't have the Bryce Young that can go sling it around. All they have to do right now is get back to running the football, right? Play great defense and be a team that nobody wants to play anymore, right? I mean, Alabama used to be a team that people feared.
Yeah, because they'd run over you.
Yeah, but they haven't done that in 2 years. So if they can get back to that, right, they'll be in the playoff. But is it too late for that style of play? Because really, Georgia's the only team that can do that right now. I mean, you got other teams. I think Michigan probably, but Alabama, we'll see. That's their only option right now. That's what they have to do.
So from a schedule standpoint, when they do get to October, here become the problems. At A&M on October the 7th, home against Tennessee on the 21st, home against LSU on November the 4th. They go to Kentucky. Alabama and Kentucky don't play all that often, but they play in Lexington November the 11th, and then they go to Auburn November the 25th. Auburn oftentimes has had success against Alabama in Auburn and has gotten their butt handed to them in Tuscaloosa. We'll go to the break on that. Just a few thoughts on Alabama. We'll check to see if we can get Marcus Pollard in here. If not, who knows where we're going? Stay tuned. Year number 2 of the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night was awesome. And the reason is really simple. I chose Strike and Spare, and they were amazing. They have great food, great bowling, and a staff that is truly ready to go the extra mile to help you. They have 5 family fun centers in the area to choose from. And for more info, go to strikeandspare.com or call them at 615-824-5685.
How am I going to get to work? My car's totaled.
Skylar, our team is making a call right now. We'll get you a rental car. Don't worry.
That's a relief.
Call us 24/7. We're here. We're going to help.
As the trusted premier custom home builder in Middle Tennessee, Donnelly Timmons has over 20 years of experience in the industry. Whether you're looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client and every remodel is unique, luxurious, and completed on time within budget. Founders Dustin Timmons and Joey Donnelly have over 25 years of construction experience in the Nashville area. Together, they have completed projects in Forest Hills, Oak Hill, Green Hills, Franklin, and Brentwood. Dustin and Joey believe that communication is the most important aspect of all construction projects. Therefore, they personally manage each project themselves and are involved in job site activities on a daily basis. Their commitment to quality and integrity has earned them an outstanding reputation among their clients. Contact them to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects. Give them a call at 615-456-7983 or log on to DonnellyTimmons.com.
The George Plaster Show is Nashville's best sports talk, 2 to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. There's a podcast version available on Spotify and Apple Podcast. Looking for more than just awards and trophies? Southern Trophy House is your one-stop solution. For over 60 years, their team has created lasting impressions with a personalized touch. From embroidery to screen-printed apparel to corporate awards, signs, and name badges, they have everything you need to keep your brand shining bright. With their knowledgeable customer service team, you can relax as they create, produce, pack, and ship merchandise and awards on time and on budget. That includes etched crystal awards, custom-cut acrylic, name badges, embroidered Richardson ball caps, banners, screen-printed T-shirts, laser-engraved Yelly cups, and knives. Recognize your hard-working team from Southern Trophy House, where they do their best to help you recognize your best. Located at 2705 Nolensville Pike in Nashville, give them a holler, 615-256-7295. Visit southerntrophy.com. Southern Trophy House, for all your personalization and recognition needs. Okay, we're back, and I see some sign of Marcus Pollard there. Kelly, you guys were teammates. I'm going to let you do all the honors and the intros, and then I'll clean up whatever mess you cause. Have at it. Go.
Marcus Pollard, obviously my teammate in the Indianapolis Colts with the Indianapolis Colts. He went on to Detroit, and I think he went to New England. Did you not?
Yeah,
Marcus.
I had a pit stop in Seattle before that.
Oh, pit stop in Seattle. That's correct. And now he is now you're the player development liaison for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
correct.
Which is a hated rivalry here in Tennessee right now. Kind of spanked the Titans around last year. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. You know, we got this residual effects of this Hurricane Ida. I think is it.
Idalia.
Yeah, you always help me like that, Kelly. So ain't nothing changed. So we on the back end of the storm that's passing through. So just getting through that, but we're doing good down here.
I got you. Do you like my shirt, son?
Son, it's amazing, son.
Hey, they love when I do. They love when I do the Lou Holtz stuff, and then when I do Tom Moore. Give me a Tom Moore quote.
You do Tom better than you.
So how's the family, man? Everybody good?
How long did you work on Holtz?
Son, it takes not a lot of time to do Lou Holtz, son. You just have to talk like this, son, and you can figure things out.
Son, that's just how it is. Me and Marcus used to talk like that all the time. We love watching Sling Blade too.
So we did watch like Sling Blade, son.
How's your family, man? Everybody good?
I was doing great. We're going up this weekend to see Micah. He's sophomore year at Michigan, and they open with East Carolina.
How's Jimmy doing, and how's Bradford Banna doing? They good?
Yeah, you know, Bradford, he decided he was going to go a different direction this year, so he's not back.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, he didn't go back to Michigan. Jim is doing great. Jim is Jim. You know, he's probably a little bit upset about the way, you know, things happen, missing those first 3 games. But I think they'll be fine. Good team, great defense, really good offense, really good players coming back off of last year's run in the BCS playoffs. And so a lot of positive things happen in Michigan. So I think that's going to keep him sane until he gets back.
How about Micah? What's his prospects? How's he looking? What is he going to get some playing time? Just be on special teams or?
Yeah, he's doing really well. He's right now 4th on the depth chart, playing inside linebacker. People keep asking me, why did he play tight end? I don't know. He enjoyed hitting his whole life. He didn't want to get hit, so he played defense. But he's doing great. He's going to be in rotation. He's probably going to start on kickoff and punt. But very optimistic about the season. He's loving his position coach, loving the system, loving being at Michigan. Amani's got family there, which helps. Uncle Braylon played there. Braylon Edwards played there. So he's got a lot of things going for him at Michigan.
So I was telling these guys the other day, let's talk a little bit about you. People don't really know your route, and you know our days of playing are obviously over, so nobody even thinks about it anymore. But just tell everybody your route to the National Football League, because I was telling George and Billy, the guys on here with me, that you didn't even play football in college. There you go with your boy. Hey, you're looking good too, man. I like that. You showing a little stuff right there. I like it, dude. You showing you got your chest picked out a little bit. But just tell everybody that you played college basketball, and then how did your road lead to the NFL?
Yeah, I'll give you the short and condensed version. I'm gonna put it into a movie and a book one day. But so I started out at Bradley University, basketball player, and didn't really have any serious prospects about going overseas and playing basketball. I really want to take that route either. And then a guy named Joe Napoli knew a scout with the Colts who was an area scout in Chicago, and reached out to him and told him I got a guy that's a tweener. He's been playing basketball the last 4 years, but he was a pretty high prospect when he was playing high school football. I had some offers from Auburn, Alabama, and the like to play basketball. I played football at high school, but my mom was afraid I was going to get hurt, so I chose basketball. So then when I got an opportunity to go work out for the Colts, I remember going in, and Dave Hammer, if you remember Dave Hammer.
Oh, yeah.
Gave me a ride down to the hospital for physicals. You know, everybody has to take a physical. He said, "Hey, man, how you doing? What's your name?" I said, "Marcus Pollard." "What position you play?" I said, "Bro, I don't know. Tight end or linebacker. I don't know what I'll be playing." And so later, funny story, Hammer said, when I told him that, he's like, "Man, what the Sam Hill are we doing? We don't got a guy taking the workout. We don't even know what position he playing. We're scraping the bottom of the barrel." So that was a kind of funny story. But then after that, to go to Indy and to have my position coach, Tom Batter. Tom Batter would take me out on the field my first day in the building and went out on the indoor, and we just did 5-yard routes, cutting in and out, working on footwork, right-hand, left-handed stance. And so I was really green when it came to playing football professionally. There were a lot of things I had to learn, but I think along the way I've really had some great help. Kelly and the like, Tom Moore, Peyton, Charles Arbuckle, Jason Belzer. And so I've been very blessed to have a guy that was so green and playing college basketball to turn into an okay football player in the professional football league. So I was just very blessed athletically. I had skill set to run, catch, jump. And, playing basketball kind of taught me to run away from man to man or how to find zones. And so that kind of helped, but it still was different in playing football. But again, very fortunate, very blessed to be coming along at the time that I did, because they were making the transition from tight ends that were 6'6", 280 pounds to guys that were 6'4", 6'5", that can run. And I was very fortunate to come in on the front end of that.
Gotcha. So, obviously, being in Tennessee, Peyton played college football here. People want to know, they love hearing stories about Peyton. So, what was it like to play for Peyton? Just tell everybody, fans that love Peyton, what was it like playing with him?
I oftentimes people say, "How was it like playing with Peyton?" I said, "You go ask Peyton, how was it playing with me?"
That's what Marvin used to say.
Right. So, but for people listening, man, Peyton's a great dude, very hard worker, very dedicated to the craft, great leader. I think sometimes because he was so determined to be successful and win, he could rub people, but I appreciated it because he knew what he wanted from day one. I remember him telling Derek Holmes, that just came from Green Bay, and Derek did something wrong in the huddle. I mean, on the play, so they came back to the huddle next play, and Derek tried to explain to Peyton what he did, and my coach told me that I need to do it that way. Peyton told him, "I don't care what your coach told you. If it's Easter, you better hunt eggs." And so from that day forward, the dude was just on a mission to be successful and win championships. And to me, his legacy has been based around how hard he worked, how thoughtful he is about the game, and being determined as he was to, even as a young player, to know what he wanted and win Super Bowls.
Gotcha. So we've got, and I don't know. Well, George knows this because I told him, but I think we've got Rob Gronkowski coming to town. He's going to speak at the Boys and Girls Club. But I know you went to New England, and I know you came from kind of the Tony Dungy deal. How different was it? I'm gonna put you on the spot, dog.
I know you are.
How different was it going from Indianapolis and going to a Bill Belichick, do your job type mentality in New England?
Yeah, I'm certain you put me on the spot because I've shared this show with you several times.
You can dodge it.
Huh?
You can dodge it if you want.
Yeah, I'll answer it politically as I can. It was a nightmare going from Tony and his way of doing things and courteous and, man of God, not saying that Bill Belichick isn't, but he has some demon tendencies. And so it was just night and day because Tony was very respectful, cared about the players. He would speak to you as he passed by. I just felt like the sun was shining every day in the building, and the culture was that way, playing for Coach Dungy. But then when I got to New England for that cup of coffee that I had there, it just felt like I was in a rain cloud every day. I called my wife in tears, like, why am I here? Why am I still playing? This is not what I'm used to. Bill Belichick was about a book, no laughing, no smiling, no enjoying the game. He walked by you in the hall and wouldn't speak, but that was just his way. And, it worked, for that culture, it worked for them. Had I started out there, it probably would have been a lot easier for me to manage having that sort of a culture. But coming from Tony and the way he ran things and to go to that, it just felt weird to me and different and not expecting that with all the success they had.
George, I know you want to ask some questions, but I am going to say this. We were in a meeting one day with Tom. It was all the quarterbacks, and Bruce Arians was in there, and Tom Moore, and Marcus had done something on the field, and Tom Moore goes, "Boy, right there, he loves life." And that's kind of how Marcus was. I mean, he did, and that's kind of what he's talking about right now. It felt like a rain cloud. I mean, he was always saying, and he says that about Rob Gronkowski. I've talked to him last year, and he was talking about Rob, talking about that boy right there loves life. He's like Marcus. He loves life. So you got to love that, and that's what the game's about. So, George, shoot away, man.
Well, Marcus, first of all, you got to know that I know a little something about the Bradley Braves. My Memphis State team played them, and Hersey Hawkins lit us up for a cool 49.
I can believe it. The Hawk he averaged 36 a game. So how he might have had an off game, so he got more against you guys, but he averaged 36 coming out. That's insane.
He was one heck of a player.
Yes, he was.
So, okay, you brought it up, the storm cloud thing. Is that why Brady left?
I don't know. I don't know why Tom left. I know Tom's a heck of a player, and to have played with two of the greatest to ever do it, Tom and Peyton are very similar when it comes to the details and how to play the game and having fun while you're playing, but also doing your job. If you're not doing your job, they're going to let you know. And to me, I have to respect the guy that's going to get so much of the pressure put on him on every side, win or lose, interception or not. He's going to get the brunt of that. So to have a guy that understands the magnitude of having teammates to do their jobs, not just so he can look great, but so our team can have success. And Tom and Peyton are epitome of that.
At the end of their careers, it seemed kind of lovey-dovey. But before that, I always got the feeling they hated each other. True or false?
I'd say false. I'd say false because I think, with guys who are as competitive as they are, they could be perceived that they hate each other, but they both wanted to win. And so if they played each other, it's like, I'm kicking your butt. No, I'm kicking your butt. And so that competitiveness probably came out more than anything. But I'd say those guys have been really good friends from the time they met.
I want to get your thoughts here. We get asked this question a lot. Have the Titans done enough in the offseason to get to the Jaguars level? Because by the end of last year, it was apparent that Jacksonville was better and at times considerably better. That picture right there of Trevor Lawrence is what worries me. Marcus, I'm convinced he has only scratched the surface of how good he's going to be. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, I'll take the first part of that first. I think the NFL is so much parity. And I have to give my hats off to a former teammate, Rand Carthon's new general manager there, and having played against Mike and seen him in action as a head coach for the Titans, he does a phenomenal job. He'll take, like Belichick does a lot, with less and find a way to win. And so with a team that scrappy and that well coached and that well led with their general manager and Rand Carthon, I had to count anybody out because they're so talented that way. Even though it may not look like it on paper, Mike's going to find a way to get the best and the most out of that team. Trevor Lawrence is a phenom. And when I tell you this guy is God made him to do one thing, very similar to Peyton, but different than Peyton. Trevor isn't so in your face about doing things the right way, not so much about hey, it's my way or the highway kind of attitude. And sometimes I wish he had a little bit more of that in him. But his way is this new modern way of playing football. And if you have a lot of the teammates now being on this side of coaching and understanding the nuances that come along with it, Trevor's done an exceptional job of learning guys' personalities and how to go and talk to them. Back in the day when we played, you were just told to do it by the coaches or whoever was in charge, and you did it. Nowadays, this modern day athlete, you have to tell them the why. And I think Trevor's done a really good job of accepting his role as leader and finding a way to connect with these guys and finding a way to lead his own way. As you said, I think we're just scratching the surface of what Trevor Lawrence will become here in the next few years.
Marcus, if I had run into you early in the third quarter of the playoff game against the Chargers, did you see it coming? Could you feel it at all?
No, I'm lying if I saw that coming. I was actually at halftime. I went into my office to do some things, and their counterpart to me was in my office, came by my office, and Arthur Hightower says, "Man, we're going to lose this game." I said, "Art, what are you talking about, bro? Up 27-0. What are you talking about?" He said, "Man, we're gonna lose this game, y'all." I said, "Art, bro, you smoking dope, man, good dope." And nevertheless, here comes the game. We come out. Trevor Lawrence plays out of his mind. The team plays great, get turnovers, and somehow find a way to beat the Chargers in such a lopsided game in the first half. And to me, it speaks to Trevor Lawrence's resiliency to throw interceptions and to put the team down like that, but at the same time, find a way to put the team on his back and find a way to have success. I think it's going to bode great for him here in the future if he can remember that being down and that determination he had to get back on top and get back in that game.
Tell me this. You brought up Rand Carthon earlier. He got a huge vote of confidence when he first got hired from Jeff Fisher. And I've got a lot of respect there because if Jeff says it, I know he means it. Talk to me about what you think will be his best qualities here as a GM.
Yeah, I think, Ryan, having played the game at a professional level, not saying guys who's never played it can't do it, but I think having played the game for as long as he did and went really right into scouting and some of the general managers and organizations he's worked for, he's going to take, just like he did in football, going to take all those things and be very successful. He's smart. He's intelligent. And I think he understands this new modern day athlete that I was talking about earlier.
Okay, you're a terrific interview, and you've pulled no punches so far, but I need this answer to this question.
Yes.
Did you ever want to slug Kelly?
Never. I knew you were going to say that.
Why did you know that? Why would you have thought that?
Because you said, I got one question, and I want you to be honest. I knew it was going to be something about Kelly. When I tell you this dude, Kelly Holcomb, is probably one of three people that I've talked to on a regular basis in my 14 years of all my teammates, all time. Kelly Holcomb is one of the closest friends I have in life. Great family. He's a great leader, competitive sucker like none other. Hates losing. To me, you have to have that to play the position that he played. Kelly and I hooked up. Our first time was a 2-point conversion in a game for his first score. He took over for Peyton, and then he got Wally pipped after that. So, but it's been
a Wally Pip reference. I love it.
It's great, MP. Hey, I got one more question, man. What makes Doug Peterson so different? MP.
I'm so glad you brought him up. Again, I think him, having played for 14 years and experiencing coaching under Andy Reid and then taking his time in Philly, I think Coach has learned a lot along the way. I think so much of this guy is that every coach, before they become a head coach, should take a class for how to be a head coach from Doug Peterson, because he does a great job with the players. He finds a way to let them have fun, but at the same time holds them accountable. He finds a way to get the maximum out of them without them feeling like they're being ran in the ground, like practice, pads. He finds a way to put the onus on them. If we take the pads off, you got to give me maximum effort, and we got to find a way to be successful and win games. If you want to do it, we'll do it. But if you don't, we're going to put the pads on. And so to me, having that sort of camaraderie and conversation with the players and putting the onus on them to do what's right, I can't say enough about Coach Peterson and what he's achieved here in such a short time, especially coming off the heels of another situation that we had here in Jacksonville.
Boy, we don't need to go there, do we?
No, we don't.
All I can say is this, Kelly. I knew when he smiled when I brought up Hersey Hawkins, I knew we were going to have fun.
Hey, Marcus was talented, man. He was very reliable, very athletic too. I mean, plus the dude. I mean, I don't know if you can tell it right now. He looks like he
still play. Nice, Kelly. You get the goodbye honors.
I appreciate it, man. Tell the fam I said what's up. Tell my girl Eris I said hello.
I definitely will. It's been a pleasure being on. You do the same for me. G, it was nice meeting you. Great interview, great show. And I'd love to be on anytime you'll have me.
Hersey.
Love you, MP. See you, buddy.
Thank you. What a terrific interview. Man, I can see why y'all are close.
Well, I don't know, man. I just there's some guys that you have like we talk about David, a kindred spirit. I just love Marcus, man. He comes up here like his daughter played basketball, and she was doing the AAU circuit where they were having to go to Louisville and come to Nashville and do all that, and they would stop by here, and he brought his whole family, and they've got a disabled young girl that she loves me and she loves my son, and it's just when we go down to Jacksonville, when a daughter that plays down there, they come to games, so it's funny how that you stay in contact with certain guys. You don't know why. Yeah. And I stay in contact with Marcus. He's a great dude, and he was a really good football player. He really was. He was talented, and from what he came from playing basketball in college to being – I think he played 14 years in the NFL. It's kind of amazing what he did.
It's Antonio Gates Part 2. Antonio Gates was a basketball player for a Kent State squad that got to the Elite Eight before Indiana beat them at Rupp Arena in Lexington. Why do I know? I was there. We'll go to the break. Kelly, the commitment to excellence continues.
I see you. Let's go.
Yes, another winner coming up. You need your money. You need to listen.
Hey, thank you for meeting with me today. The insurance company has made an offer.
Already? How?
They've offered you the entire policy.
Thank you, Blair.
You're so welcome.
Family owned and operated for more than 2 decades, Alaco Fine Wood Floors is Nashville and Middle Tennessee's choice for premium quality hardwood floors. Since 1995, Jimmy Alaco and his army of employees have embodied the approach of taking pride in one's craft and providing superior customer service, growing from a one-man shop to a team of 23 professionals who share the founder's passion for quality craftsmanship and customer satisfaction. If you are interested in contacting them, you can find their headquarters at 2505 Winford Avenue in Berry Hill, or give them a call at 615-356-0303. Again, that's 615-356-0303, or log on to alacofinewoodfloors.com. Alaco Fine Wood Floors, serving Middle Tennessee's hardwood flooring needs since 1995.
You can't see the sights without the sounds. From the crack of the bat to the roar of the crowd and everything in between, discover what Hit City has to offer. Single game tickets are on sale now.
Star Physical Therapy was established in 1997 with one great mission: to serve. If you're hurting, don't wait to receive physical therapy. You don't need a referral to see their physical therapist, and early morning and evening appointments are available. Make the call to 615-673-1420 and get rid of that pain. Star Physical Therapy, the official health provider of Football Friday.
Convenience and value, 2 words that we expect when we do business. Our goal at JHA Company is to deliver just that, both to our school partners and to our customers. Whether you're purchasing photos, yearbooks, class jewelry, letter jackets, school spirit wear, or senior graduation products, we strive to make the experience easy, convenient, and cost-effective. Find out more at jhacompany.com or call 615-867-6345 for more information. JHA, one source, one company.
Final segment on a Wednesday. Football is almost here. Well, it is here, but real week one college football starts tonight. Florida at Utah.
Tomorrow night.
Did I say?
Yes.
What did I say?
You said tonight.
Oh, tomorrow night. Tomorrow night. And Cam Rising, I'm hearing likely won't play. I think I saw that, but we'll get confirmation on that.
I've heard mixed stuff. I read the Salt Lake City paper earlier today, and they were kind of 50-50 about it.
Well, Florida knows they'll be preparing for him either way.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But it's time for Bet of the Day, brought to you by Bart Durham Injury Law. Give them a call, 615-242-9000, or log on to bartdurham.com. Kelly, I can't wait for these Phillies bets to get over. I mean, what in the world are the Angels doing?
By the way, today the Angels scored 3 late to beat the Phillies 10-8. If you're watching this live, I'm thrilled to not be taking the Phillies.
Well, I'm with George, man. Keep going with what works. I mean, we had a coach in Lincoln County a long time ago where he ran a trap play for 6 plays in a row, and the other coach that they were scrimmaging came up and said, "Are you going to run something else?" And the guy said, "Hey, you hadn't stopped it yet, so why you got to change it?" So I'm with George. It's working. Keep going.
So tonight's one that anybody could say, Plaz, this is too easy. Yeah, it is. I'm going with the Dodgers at home. The Dodgers are on just an absolute rampage in August. And what scares me about this is that after tonight, 4-game series at Dodger Stadium with the Atlanta Bravos. And I would probably take 1 out of 4 and never play it.
Oh, wow.
I think the Dodgers
are
that hot right now.
Oh, wow.
This is going to be a real test because what will be at stake starting tomorrow night is home field throughout the playoffs. It's down to the Braves and the Dodgers. No one else is even close. And the Dodgers a month ago were nowhere to be found, but they have gone absolutely out of their mind. Mookie Betts now, a lot of people think, has surpassed both Ronald Acuna and Matt Olson. And a lot of people believe today Mookie Betts would win the National League MVP. Freddie Freeman's right there with him. I mean, you've got 4 unbelievable superstars starting tomorrow. But tonight, Dodgers, they're red hot at home. The truth of it is, I hope I lose. How about that?
That's why you're doing this.
No, I'm taking. Do you notice those $100 bills? Where did you find those?
It's called the internet, George.
Really? Okay.
Yep.
A new thing. It's a new thing, George.
Certainly wasn't out of any of our paychecks.
Ricky says y'all were dumb as crap to let Freddie Freeman walk.
Thank you, Ricky. Or let's give old Ricky the nickname, Captain Obvious. However, let me say this. Matt Olson being a pretty good consolation prize. Guy's got about 45 homers. He's not chopped liver.
No.
We're done. Kelly, guess what happens tomorrow?
You're going to get to pick 2 tomorrow, right? You get to pick a little college football action, right?
Well, no, there's something else tomorrow.
Oh, there's something else. Okay, what's happening?
We debut the underdog picks.
Let's go, baby.
Oh.
And I've got to do the underdog picks again with your boy, with your son Willie.
I'll be involved in that as well.
Is that tomorrow?
Our defending champion, Darren McFarland, not able to participate. He's on the air when we're on the air.
That's right.
Thus, it can't happen. But we will salute Darren tomorrow as the defending champion,
That's
which
a shame
he is.
because Darren provided most of the cynicism. He was hilarious.
We can all tune it up.
I think there's enough with just you two.
Kelly, root on those Dodgers.
Go Dodgers.
That's your kind of team.
Yeah, sure. Baseball, my kind of game.
Yeah, absolutely. Clark Lee tomorrow?
Yep.
Okay. We got a good show planned Friday. Football Friday will originate from Nashville Christian High School. And so we got a lot of things going on before we kick off college football. Yes, indeedy. See you soon. Maybe tomorrow.
Yeah.